I have a very specific dislike for dashboards. Not because dashboards are bad. Dashboards are fine. They sit there, glowing politely, pretending the answer is obvious. The real problem is the empty question box in your head. You know something changed. Revenue feels different. Activation feels weird. Support volume feels louder. But asking the right data question is its own skill. And if you work alone, there may not be a data analyst sitting nearby to translate vague suspicion into a useful chart. Basedash Suggestions launched today on Product Hunt, and the pitch is simple. Your AI data analyst now has ideas of its own. Basedash is already an AI, native business intelligence platform. You connect company data, ask for a chart in natural language, and it generates the visualization without requiring SQL. Suggestions changes the starting point. Instead of waiting for you to know what to ask, it studies your connected data, your past chats, and the dashboards you have already built. Then it proposes personalized next steps. Questions worth asking, dashboards worth building, and automations worth scheduling. The maker says one click runs the work. Used suggestions get replaced with fresh ones, and every suggestion is generated per person, for growth, finance, and operations alike. Through the introvert lens, this scores a 9 because it removes a surprisingly social task, initiating analysis when you are not yet confident. In a normal company, the path from suspicion to insight often involves a meeting, a Slack thread, or a slightly apologetic message to the data person. Can you check whether trial users from last week behaved differently? Could we maybe look at churn by channel? Do we have a dashboard for this? Even when the people are kind, the workflow forces you to perform certainty before you have evidence. A proactive analyst flips that. It gives you a few good doors to open quietly. The workflow I would test is not executive theater. I would use it on the small weekly questions that usually rot. Which channel drove last week's order spike? Which cohort is slipping? Which customer segment changed behavior after the new onboarding screen? What should become a scheduled alert instead of a monthly surprise? Basedash says, suggestions can propose chats, dashboards, and automations from the data you have connected and the questions you have asked before. That matters because the best analysis is contextual. A generic dashboard says, here are numbers. A useful analyst says, this number moved, and based on your job, you probably care. The strongest detail is that suggestions are per person, not just sprayed across the whole organization. That is a quiet but important design choice. The finance person should not get the same prompt as the growth person. The operator watching inventory should not get the same idea as the founder watching activation. Personalization is how this avoids becoming another notification fountain. The maker also said they have been using it internally, and about half of new dashboards now start from a suggestion rather than a written prompt. That is the behavior change to watch. Less blank page analytics, more prompted investigation. There is a real caveat. A confident analyst with the wrong join is worse than no analyst, because the chart arrives wearing a suit. Product Hunt commenters asked exactly the right questions. How does it show its work? Attach the query path, explain source tables, surface assumptions, and avoid plausible-looking noise. Basedash says its core agents handle those qualifiers, and it has benchmark work around accuracy. Good. But for an introvert, the lesson is still, do not outsource judgment. Use the suggestion as the first question, not the final answer. Let it open the door. You still decide whether the room is useful. My verdict is, worth trying if you run a small team, solo business, or internal function where data matters, but analysis starts late because nobody wants to convene a dashboard seance. Start with low-risk suggestions. Let it propose a weekly dashboard. Let it schedule one obvious alert. Let it ask 3 questions you would have asked if you had more time and less self-consciousness. Then inspect the work. If the suggestions come with enough context to verify them, this becomes a quiet force multiplier. If they are vague, pretty, and unverifiable, it becomes noise with gradients. The bigger signal is that AI is moving from answer engine to initiative engine. First, it answered questions. Then it wrote SQL. Then it made charts. Now it is beginning to ask, should we look here? For loud teams, that may become more dashboards. Please pace yourselves. For introverts, it can be something better. A private first pass before the meeting, a few hypotheses before the Slack thread, and enough evidence to speak only when there is something worth saying. The future of analytics is not everyone shouting at a dashboard. Ideally, it is the dashboard quietly tapping you on the shoulder first.